Have you ever seen those special TV shows or movies? You know the ones that are so wonderfully, unintentionally bad, but they bring you so much joy and captivate you, but for all the wrong reasons.
Well, we here at B-Watch Rewatch absolutely live for these underdog gems.
So buckle up, Busters, and please allow us,
Kolin
and Cadence, a sibling duo who share a passion for such cinematic excellence, to take you on a wild ride through all the TV shows and movie plots you never knew you needed to hear.
Hi, everybody. It's Kolin.
Hi, it's Cadence.
Before we get into the movie today, we're excited to talk about all kinds of things.
We're revved up, guys.
We're revved up. I was revved up because I even texted Cadence earlier and I was like, I am so fucking excited to do this movie because, that was kind of weird. I did that. But I was really excited because this movie is really great. But before we get into that, I'm being stalked by giant magpies.
Okay.
Day in, day out.
Is this like a sand shark situation where they have like a vendetta against you and they know right from wrong?
I think so. Anyway, I live on the top floor of this place and they land on my house and they just stomp around all night. And so I get real mad and I'm like, shoo, you magpies. And I'm recording with Cadence right now. Look out the window and a magpie is strutting by and he side-eyes me so hard as he walks by my window. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
He's like, how you like that? How you like that strut?
They're surrounding
like
me.
that?
There's like 10 outside right now all strutting around. And I know.
Does he snap his little wing? He's like, guys, come on, circle up.
Well, really, because at first I would lay at night and they would stomp on my roof.
I would lay at night.
Well, I was lying to sleep at night and they would...
I would lay at night.
And they would just stomp across my ceiling like a little kid running across my ceiling. And it was really scary. And I would be like, damn, these magpies.
Damn, are there little kids on my ceiling?
Well, I really didn't know what it was at first. When I first moved here, I thought it was, I don't know.
Thought it was little kids on the ceiling.
I am cursing them. And now they're getting bigger and bigger in numbers. They're surrounding my house. And I'm afraid to go outside. They're smart. They look at you.
They're formulating a plan. So just be careful next time.
Oh, they are. I've seen 20 of them. I literally, do you see me shifting left to right on the camera? They're looking at me. Oh no, next episode is just you alone. You're doing a B-Watch on my life. The magpies that attacked Kolin.
They finally got him. Kolin lost his battle with the magpies.
They break in and kill me. Creature cam. Like I was saying earlier, I was so excited to do this film. I'll call it a film. It's a film.
I'll go there.
I'll go there. Debate me, guys. Because this
The magpies are knocking on the window. They're like, pardon? I think you mean a movie.
We've seen a lot of movies in our day where magpies. But this movie kind of encapsulates... Oh, now I said movie. I just disregarded my own statement of film.
You're disrespecting the magpie's opinion. It's fine.
Because they're stalking me. I still see them, Velociraptor, walking their little bitch asses by my window, side-eyeing me nonstop. This movie is called Freshwater, and it is about an alligator. And I think it's just perfect. It is everything that B-Watch Rewatch stands for.
I feel like you left out something that's really important, that this alligator...
I don't want to say because...
Oh, you don't want to say? Okay.
Because it might give... I mean, it won't, but it might give away the whole movie because that's what the whole movie tried to do, is hide this aspect. Well, no, they didn't. Let's just say it.
It's an albino alligator. Completely white.
Now that we're going rogue, we're not even going to waste your guys' fucking time, okay? This movie, they try to make it like a thing that this alligator is albino, but it's just an albino alligator. It still attacks like an alligator.
I wonder if they know that albino alligators really exist. Like, if they thought, they were like, oh my God, no one's ever thought of just like a white alligator. And they thought it was mystical.
And they don't cause you to have like mythical attack or intellectual powers. But this movie really banks on the idea that because this alligator is white, somehow it's a mystery as to what it's doing.
God.
When all
it's God.
When all it's doing is fucking killing people, you guys. Okay, so the movie we're doing today is 2017, which is pretty recent. It's called Freshwater.
Freshwater.
How was this not the first movie that we did? Because it's pure B-Watch Rewatch. It's everything we stand for. If you guys have a chance to watch it, this is the kind of shit that we eat
for.
We eat up like an albino alligator, eating up people. So without further ado, so let's raise a glass to this week's movie, Freshwater. All right, so without further ado, this story begins in somewhere America. We don't quite
with
know where.
freshwater, somewhere with freshwater.
Somewhere freshwater. God, I'm having a real hard time.
Those magpies really got you flustered today.
I'm just so excited to do this movie. Let's start again. This movie starts in somewhere America where there is fresh water. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you the real basic overview because it's not that hard. An albino alligator is killing a lot of people in fresh water, and people are trying to figure out what the hell is going on, okay? That's the gist of the movie. Real easy. It'll be an easy one today.
So the main thing that you need to know is that there's a group of like college-age kids, roughly.
You're being real
playing
generous.
college-age kids.
College-age kids. They are full 47. Each one is 47. I will say that.
In that group, you have Kim and Travis, who are dating. You have Claudia and Jason, who are dating. You have Maddie and Melody, who are not dating. They're single, but they're trying to hook them up. And then you have another couple that's only there to die. So the brunette and her boyfriend.
We'll call them brunette.
They don't even have names. Then there's the other group of basically like law enforcement and officials who are trying to figure out, they're like on the trail of these quote mysterious deaths.
Just like in Sabretooth, just like in all the other movies, we're busting out the creature flicks.
So you have the new sheriff in town. His name is Sheriff Jones. You have Clyde, who's his officer sidekick. You have Brenda, who is the equivalent of Dr. Sandy Powers from Sand Sharks.
Oh, she's much better than Sandy Powers. Well, no, I should never say that, but you guys, pure Kate Hudson, Plan B. Gorgeous woman. Gorgeous woman.
Her.
Looks exactly like Kate Hudson, just a little bit rougher. Just a little bit more like she's had a rough night.
She's an alligator expert. What do you expect? And then Sam, who is a CSI crime scene investigator. I know that's redundant saying CSI and then crime scene investigator because they're the same thing.
Say that a lot in this movie.
But they're all kind of trying to figure out what's going on. And so those are our two main groups, our main camps, if you will.
Like I said, this takes place in somewhere America because Brenda has a real, authentically real, I should say, Southern accent, but no one else does. So
and hers comes and goes.
It comes and
not
goes.
Consistent in any way.
Because you never know where it's filmed. They just want to keep you on. I think the directors were like, let's keep the viewers on their toes. It's
Would they possibly be in California?
Mississippi, California. And basically those two groups of people, one is getting terrorized, aka the college students, aka the 47-year-olds, and the other one's trying to be on the tail of it. So that's what you need to know. All right, so we start off, we're basically in a swamp, but we see a jet ski with one of our main characters, I will say, R.I.P. the other one, Matt and Jamie, and they're just jet skiing around on what appears to be a swamp, I guess.
Right. It doesn't look like a place I would want to swim. I mean, jet ski, but
how do you even get jet ski into that swamp? I don't know. It's bizarre. Anyway, they're just having the
drag it through the sludge.
I know. And we were introduced to Maddie and Jamie, and they pull over. They get to a dock, like an actual, I guess, pier-style dock.
Yeah.
Kind of like those old style, It was a wonderful day. Me and my friends were swimming at the swamp. What do you call those? A dock? Well, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we loved fishing.
But you've already said a dock like 3 times.
But is it a dock? Or is it a pier? Or is it a wooden beach road?
Or is it
a wooden beach road that goes out to the middle of the swamp? I don't know.
It's a wooden beach road.
You all know what I'm talking about. Just picture the South, someone fishing at the end of a wooden beach road, okay? It goes into the swamp. And Maddie and Jamie pull up on a jet ski. There's no one else on this swamp, which is very small. And this is where we see that there's this love interest between Maddie and Jamie, and he's just really pushing for Jamie to go on a date with him. And you're like, they're already on a jet ski date.
You guys already are?
You guys are alone on a jet ski in your bathing suits. You're kind of already on a date, but he's begging her to go on a date.
Come on, just one date.
And she's just like,
you can always make me laugh, Maddie.
You're funny. No. And he's like,
what about dinner tonight then?
Okay, please. And she's like, okay.
How about I ride out to Travis's with you?
She goes,
look, it'll do your image good to be seen with the resident nerd.
You're a geek. There's a difference. In a good way.
And so this brings up a good topic. What's the difference? I personally think a geek is like more sci-fi oriented maybe, and a nerd is more not. I don't know. What's the difference? You should know. You and I should both know.
I was
You and I should
Are you
both know.
implying that I am married either a geek or a nerd?
I am
Because
implying that
that's accurate.
we both should know.
This is a definition I heard one time, and it made the most sense to me. But a nerd is when someone loves something so much that they don't want to share it with anybody. They like being like the only one who's into it. Whereas a geek is so enthusiastic about all the stuff that they're into that they want everybody else to like it. So they want to tell you about their favorite show or their favorite comics or whatever. They tend to be a little bit more like, watch this, trust me, you'll love it. Whereas nerds are sort of gatekeepy. They're like, oh, I love this thing. You can't.
But they will talk the same. I was thinking more like a geek was like more like, I love Star Wars and Avatar. And a nerd was more like, did you know the science behind astronomy? Like that kind of thing. Like one was more like, you know what I'm talking about? One was more like science-based. One was more like science fiction-based. I'm going to ruffle a few feathers out there. You know what? We'll
you know
drop
what?
this.
You are taking a real controversial stance right now, and I don't want to be the one to challenge it. So you know what? If that's what you think,
I don't think that.
Fine.
That's not what I think. Okay, that's just what I heard. That's what I heard somewhere. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to dig down. No, that is what I know. That is what I have a testimony
That is in
of.
the fate of the cards. Okay. No, that's just what I heard. That's just what I heard. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind.
Word on the street. Okay.
Regardless, they have this whole thing going on where he's like, please go on a date with me. She's like, you're funny. He's like, no, please go. And
Yeah,
like,
her way of turning him down. You're so funny, Maddie. Me going on a date with you is such a funny joke, Maddie.
So then he's like, come with me tonight. And she's like, I thought you were at Jamie's. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, for someone who doesn't like me, you know my schedule, which is a little awkward. Okay. All right. Well, I am. And he's like, oh, you caught me. Yeah, that's true. And she's like, oh, you. And I'm like, okay, they're sending real mixed signals. Regardless, she agrees.
I'll meet you at the main pier at 4.
And she's going to go to his friend's house that night as kind of a group hangout. And then before she leaves and before they separate, he's like,
Wait, what? No goodbye kiss?
wait, can I get a goodbye kiss? And I'm like, dude, that's the point of the date. Like,
He
what
keeps
is going
pushing
on?
this interaction just to the brink of appropriate.
Like, just chill. Anyway, she gives him a little forehead tap.
I just want to say that from here on out, I'm going to be referencing Travis's house, the get-together house that they're all referencing, as Sex House Island, because
it is pure
that's
Sex
what
House
it
Island.
is. So if you hear me say that, that's where all the college kids are going to gather. So Maddie leaves the wooden beach road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Jamie's left behind. And you know what? She hears something in the water.
It is
What's
by
happening
the
in
beach house
water over
road.
there?
Maybe 2 feet from the shore, there is a massive amount of bubbles. And I don't know about you, but when I see a massive amount of bubbles in a swamp, my first reaction is to bend down on the beach house road, the wooden beach house road, and reach my hand out to maybe pop one little bubbles. Like, who does this, Jamie?
What is going on with this little bubble party?
You know what? I'm going to tap it with my little finger, pop a little bubble on the surface.
Can't see a darn thing, but I'm definitely going to stick my fingies down in there.
Who listening sees a bunch of bubbles in a swamp and is like, I'm going to reach my hand down there? That sounds like a good idea. You know what? Jamie does it.
Best course of action. Definitely, for sure.
And it's, again, my favorite part is it's 2 feet from the shore. Like 2 feet. Mm-hmm. She's not even at the end of the dock, wooden beach road. She's
at where the wooden beach road meets the land.
Yes. And she's like, I'm going to tap these little bubbles. And you don't see what it is, but it gets her real quick. Real snaps her up.
That's me doing the sound.
We're guessing it's albino croc.
The other thing about the bubble situation is like, do alligators like to blow bubbles?
Cadence, when you are an albino alligator, you love blowing bubbles to attract people. You're like, I wonder if this will get her attention. I don't know. That's what you do because you're albino, dude. Come on.
They're evolved predators, so they have
they also
a completely different system for attracting their prey.
They also know they're
Blown
like,
raspberries.
Okay, that guy just left on a jet ski. She's alone. I'm going to blow little albino alligator bubbles, get her attention, then I'm going to smack her off that wooden beach road. So if that answers your question, yes.
Yeah.
How would they even blow bubbles?
Sure. That's what I kept trying to
They're already under the
out.
water. He had to have come out of the water, taken a deep breath, gone back down, blown all the bubbles. But she didn't see that. Regardless, we digress. She gets munched. Jamie, I'm sorry, girl. But kind of on you.
But I mean, don't reach over.
What was she planning to grab? Like, what was she... Like, if it was a tube of water...
Best case scenario. What's on the other side of those swamp bubbles?
She picks up a gold blowing tube. Like, what on earth do you think is... Why would you...
Blowing tube!
She pulls it up, and it's like Prince Charming attached to the other end. He's like, hey, I was just trying to stay underwater to stalk you, girl, because I wanted... Like, what? What are you trying to do?
I think you're really beautiful. I was watching you jet ski.
She's like, okay, this is weird, but, I'm kind of into it. Like, what is the best case scenario? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you saw bubbles in an empty swamp, you don't reach down and try to pop/grab those bubbles. A little bit's on you.
It really is. There's a reason that all that's left of Jamie is her leg.
An alligator was not having it.
Moving on. We have two more of our lead characters. Brenda, who is the gator expert, which we talked about earlier, and Sam, who is the crime scene investigator. I'm not 100% sure why Sam is even here at this moment, other than it just facilitates some of the plot. But basically, Brenda's looking at a dead doggy. You don't see it, but she's looking at the body of a dog that's been eaten by an alligator.
A dead doggy.
A dead doggy.
A doggy.
Sorry. She's telling Sam, like, yeah, something is real funky out here. I don't know what's happening, but I keep getting these calls.
Okay.
Okay.
She's looking at a dead doggy.
Back it right up.
She's looking at a dead doggy going, what happened to this doggy? Because she's got a really weird accent.
Right.
Well, you know it's going to be different in Nolans.
And Sam just appears out of nowhere, as he does the rest of the movie.
We'll bring this up several times.
He pops out of a tree behind it, and he's like, hey, Brenda. And you're like, oh, where'd that guy come from?
I double-checked with Kolin. I was like, did I somehow miss all of Sam entrances into every scene? But no, he just appears. It doesn't matter if she's in the depths of the forest or in the depths of the swamp. He'll walk into frame just as if he was just hanging out there too.
He's a little genie.
Funny seeing you here.
He's a little genie. Anyway,
Brenda?
Sorry. Continue.
She's been called to the area as the resident gator expert because these alligators, or one alligator or lots of alligators, they don't know yet, are starting to eat all the little dogs. And so Sam is been called in to help just in case.
Hell, they called me out on this case.
The big CSI guy coming out on a missing dog case.
He's also getting ready to move to the big city of
Nolans.
Nolans.
You guys, the subtitles actually say Nawlins because they say it so fucking stupid.
Because Brenda at some point decided she was Southern, but she only does it periodically. So in this moment, she's very Southern. And she's like, oh, you want to go out before you get to Nolans?
You're going to the big city of Nolans? And I'm like, Brenda, girl, are you Texan? Are you Georgian? Not like Georgia. Like Eastern European. Georgian, like the state.
No, I think everybody understood.
I didn't. One time
I think they were clear about which Georgia.
One time at work when I was at, you remember PCC? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but I live in Hawaii.
I do recall.
I was a private tour guide, and I was taking a Georgian family from the country Georgia, but I didn't know Georgia was a country. And so they're like, we are from Georgia. And I was like, but where are you guys from? And they're like, Georgia. And I was like, but where are you guys born? And they're like, Georgia. We are from Georgia. And I was like, but like, what part of Georgia? Because I was like, just tell me you were born in the U.S. and moved to Eastern Europe, dude. And they were like, we are from Georgia. I am telling you. And I'm like, okay, but like, what? Charlottesville? Where? Because you don't sound
Charlottesville, Georgia.
Don't sound like... And that's when I learned Georgia was a country. Keep going.
You know what? That cultural center taught you some culture. Did its job.
It very much so did its job.
My favorite thing is, this is the second date someone's been asked out on in like 6 minutes. And again, there's another great line to decline. This time instead of, oh, you're so funny, it's...
I can't. I have this nuisance call I have to go check on.
Gotta go. Because like a nuisance call is not going to take up your whole night.
No.
A nuisance call is going to be like, hello, and it's going to be, hey, some magpies are fucking stomping on my roof. And they're going to be like, you know what?
Okay, bud.
Okay, bud, I'll be over in a second. Then you're free for a date, Brenda. Use a different excuse.
Yeah. Nuisance call implies super short amount of time.
I'd be like,
super
oh,
tiny.
I just got a quadruple homicide call. This is going to take a long time. Sorry, Sam.
Probably months, even.
You know what? You might already be in Nolans by then. I don't know. So Brenda needs to
Let's just not. I don't have to cancel, so let's just not make it to begin with, okay?
You have a good time in Nolans.
She leaves, and he goes,
Call you before I leave.
She's already in the car, driving away, full on engine going. She's down the road.
She's
And
a
I'm like,
career-oriented woman.
"Bud,
She's got
you
no time for
tried."
dates. Brenda's got one thing on her mind. It's gators and nuisance calls.
It is. Gators and nuisance
Also,
calls.
sorry, she's not a cop or anything. She's a gator expert. So the nuisance call, it's going to be about gators.
It's
She should have just been like, hey, I got a call about a gator. Like, not a nuisance call. You're not a cop. You're not an EMT. You're not a doctor. You got a nuisance call about a gator.
If it's a nuisance and it's a gator, you call Brenda. And that's pretty much all you call Brenda for.
Who is the quote-unquote resident gator expert, but we don't know where resident is. You might think it's Louisiana because she keeps saying Nolans, but we're not sure.
She shows up at my favorite character. She's not in it for long, but she's got a special spot in my heart. Her name is Mrs. Biggins.
Okay, imagine Alanis Morissette from the 90s and Lisa Loeb. They got together and created a baby, and she is angry sassy. First, there's this scene of Brenda on a kayak, slowly out in the swamp, and she sees what looks like a gator, but it's just a log, you guys.
Right.
So Brenda's like, oh God, that Mrs. Biggins.
Mrs. Biggins.
She picks up the log, puts it in her kayak.
This really is a nuisance.
She goes back to Mrs. Biggins' house, and Mrs. Biggins, the first thing she says is,
Did you get rid of it?
and instantly you know Mrs. Biggins, she's a Karen to the max.
She's like, listen, Mrs. Biggins, I know what you think you saw, but this is actually a log.
This is where Brenda really shines, and she's kind of a little bit drunk because she's trying to do a southern accent. And so Mrs. Biggins is full Karen. Did you got it?
Right.
Did you find it? I know what I saw. I freaking saw a gator. And Brenda's like, okay, so here's the thing. Okay. And she's holding the log, and she's like, here's the thing. I'm going to say this. If you see alligators and you leave them alone, they're going to leave you alone. And Mrs. Biggins is not having it for a second. Brenda forgets her lines 20 times.
She drank in the car on the way over. For sure.
Well, she gets pulled over for a DUI later in the movie if you don't.
She does, so it makes total sense.
Because she really does forget her lines. Like, okay.
If I did it with Miss Biggins, though, I might want a couple drinks, too.
She's the worst.
So Brenda's drunkenly like, this is so long, Miss Biggins. I don't know if you know what this is.
I got called out for this last week. And let me... okay.
Are you calling me for nuisance? Are you mean a nuisance, Miss Biggins?
It's a log. Listen, listen. You're going to see a gator swimming. Okay. Logs don't swim. Mrs. Biggins, gators, they swim. So like, okay, listen, Mrs. Biggins. And Mrs. Biggins like, yeah, bitch, I know
If
what
you see
alligators
it's
do.
moving, it's just floating because water moves. It's just gonna be floating, and so me move from one place to another place. But it's just because it's floating. It's just some water.
Her eyes aren't even open. Bloodshot shut. Mrs. Biggins is like, dude, I know what I saw. I saw a gator. Which leads me to my next question. Like, obviously there are gators in the area. Okay, so gators,
Right.
again, are probably a common nuisance, if you will.
Right.
Okay, so it's like, if you are in the South, if you're saying Nolans, you're in the South, okay? So gators are everywhere.
Everywhere.
So there should be no...
Like magpies in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't be like this mystery. Like if someone's like, I saw a gator, you should be like, yeah, of course you did, Mrs. Biggins. They're everywhere we live in
You
fucking
actually, your
Louisiana.
front yard is the swamp. Because it's like you walk out her driveway.
You got too far because I was going to say the same thing. Mrs. Biggins' house is on a swamp. That was going to bring me to my next point. Mrs. Biggins, Alanis Morissette, Lisa Loeb, you live on a swamp, dude.
Except for having a wooden beach road, she has a concrete beach road. There's an actual escape route for the alligators. It's a path. It's a paved path. Come on up, guys.
Oh my God, we're so dumb, you guys. But just visually, Mrs. Biggins lives on a swamp.
She could not be closer to the swamp. Could not be closer.
So I think that if Brenda shows up, she should be like, yeah, Mrs. Biggins, I trust that you saw a gator, dude. You live on a swamp. But of course, she's one eye open, like a log, you know, swamp. So, and again, Mrs. Biggins is just not having it. She's like, I know what I saw.
It was no log that I saw. It was at least a 20-foot gator. It was a gator. I know what I saw. It was a gator. It was massive. I'm just glad it didn't get my little Fluffy. Scary.
You've nothing to worry about with Fluffy. I think Fluffy's fine.
It's more the Yorkie-sized ones that we have to worry about.
Don't worry. These gators that are popping up here and there, they're only getting dogs. And your dog is actually too big for the gators that are out and about. So don't worry. You're going to be fine. Bye.
So we're met with Maddie and Jason. And if you don't remember, Maddie's from the very beginning scene. His love interest, Jamie, gets gobbled up by that gator. Yeah. And
but at
he's
this
with
point,
Jason.
he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't know this. This is later that day. That gator's been real busy. And he's like, Jason, we're going to have the best time ever on Sex Party Island with all our young college friends who happen to be in their like mid-40s.
Can't get lucky at Travis's place. You ain't gonna get lucky anywhere.
And this is where Jason, we're just going to keep it brief. His girlfriend, I don't know, significant other, whatever, Claudia meets him.
Getting lucky.
Hey, our dorky friend Matt here.
Hey, I'm a geek, not a dork.
There's a difference.
Yeah, of course there's a difference.
Do tell.
Geeks are sexier.
And everyone in this movie fucking jumps around people's waist. She jumps around
They
his
run
waist
and jump and straddle
making
their
out
man.
with him.
Yes, we're gonna have so much fun.
When's the last time you've seen anybody do that in any capacity of real life? Which I don't know what that means.
None. And I always joke around that my taste in men is like, if you're tall, if you're lanky, and you can never lift me up, then you're just my type. So I know in my own experience, it's never happened.
If I saw anybody do that, I'd be like, dude, let's not be friends anymore. Anyway, so they're just basically talking about how they're all going to go to Sex Party Island this weekend. We're going to blip right through that. And now we're going to meet at the local, the only store in the world in this.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-all kind of a place. There's like bait there, there's snacks there, there's booze there.
There's sunglasses there, there's sheriffs, everything. And yeah, let's go there.
In that store is where we are introduced to Kim. She is working at the store. And we are also introduced to Clyde, who is a local police officer who is showing Sheriff Jones, the new sheriff in town, around.
Sure. Now this right here is what you need.
You must be the new sheriff in town.
Sheriff Jones, please meet you.
Kim
Kim.
Whitley.
Now, Sheriff Jones is originally from Atlanta, but most recently was in New York working as a cop and came down to the small town because that's where he wants to retire. And I feel like maybe Sheriff Jones misunderstood what the word retire means. Like, he just refuses to do any work. He hates it.
Yeah, but he's like the head sheriff, apparently. So, and Clyde is just a real derp guy. You know, he's pure.
He's got the best of intentions. He's like a local guy. He's been there his whole life.
Yeah, anyway.
So what we find out from this little interaction is that Kim was supposed to be already gone to Sex House Island with everybody else, but Jamie was supposed to take her shift, and Jamie did not show up for work this morning.
She was supposed to work this morning. She's never late. Called and texted her a dozen times.
Anybody else would be like, yeah, that's Jamie. Sometimes she's flaky, but not Clyde because he's a police officer. He's like, you know what?
I'd like to go check in on Jamie. Just to make sure everything's okay. She's not the type of girl to miss work without calling.
It doesn't sound like something Jamie would do. And the Sheriff Jones is like,
Go ahead, deputy, but I'm sure she's fine.
You know what? Go ahead and go without me. I don't know if you know this, but I hate this job, so go ahead. I'll just hang out here.
Aren't you the new head sheriff?
Yeah.
Jones, like, you want to look into this with me?
So he takes off. Clyde goes to check on Jamie, and Sheriff Jones walks outside when all of a sudden a giant truck comes barreling down the road, almost runs over children, and out of that truck comes my favorite character, maybe of all time.
Hey, what can I do for you, Sheriff? What's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
Travis Beecher.
Travis. Watch where you're going there. You almost hit these kids.
What kids?
Don't kill anybody on my shift, you got it?
Okay. Whatever you say, Sheriff.
Travis, he's supposed to be like the rich, hot guy from the big city who wears the deepest of V's every time he wears a shirt. Sheriff Jones is like, just don't kill any kids on my shift. He is 100% serious about not doing any work, not even pedestrian deaths.
And Travis is like doesn't even care that he almost took a child's life. Like he does not even care. Like if I almost hit a kid, I'd pull over and be crying and be like, "Oh my god, I almost took a kid's life. Oh my god." And no, Travis gets out on his cell phone and he's like, "Don't even care. My name's Travis. I'm super rich." So he goes in to meet his girlfriend Kim, or you assume his significant other Kim.
Well,
and
you don't have to assume because she runs and straddles him.
that's
Just
what I was
Claudia
gonna
did
say.
Jason.
Another fucking jump and straddle, you guys. I'm
The
gonna
old
demand.
jump and straddle. The old
I'm
JNS.
gonna only do that anytime I see anybody, any friend. I'm gonna do that. Jump and straddle.
But with no warning. Never warn
No
them.
warning. Just
go
full
for it.
run and jump and straddle. And instantly we realize that Travis is a sicko because he is like, "Oh, Kim, I love you. I'm so ready for tonight." She runs to the back to check out and he's already hitting on a Russian model.
Hey, I'm Travis.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, I'm on town every summer.
Carrie? Or Jenny? Jenny it is.
Are you kidding me?
What? I was just being friendly here to our neighbor,
Melody.
Melody. So do you fish?
Sometimes.
Really? You should come out this weekend. We're going to Beecher's Island. We're going to be doing lots of fishing.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks. Maybe I will.
No.
He didn't bring her. He just sees her in the store. It's really genuinely random.
So it makes him
You
even
want to
worse.
come? Yes, exactly. And Kim's like, "I'm so sorry. Are you actually inviting that girl to Sex Island right in front of me?" And he's like, "I don't mean anything by it, babe." And she's like, "Okay, well, as long as you don't forget, I'm your girlfriend." And I'm like, I think he
forgot. I think he just forgot when he invited a random Russian model, quote unquote model, who's in a
He did
tackle,
break it
bait and
too.
tackle shop. Russian
Yeah, no
models
one-
love to hang out at bait and tackle shops in somewhere south
and tackle.
USA. Did I say bait and tackle? Bait and tackle shops.
Yeah.
Bait and tackle shops in somewhere South America. Everyone knows Russian models love to hang out there. So
You
I
mean
get
Southern America? Like the Southern Hemisphere of America?
What'd I say,
Not
South America? South America.
We had a mix up with Georgia earlier. I'm just clarifying.
I'm
Just
all over the
clarifying.
place tonight. Okay. Regardless, he picks up Kim and now this Russian model in the bait and tackle shop in
Because
Southern
of course you're
America.
just going to go with some stranger to Sex House Island with no context whatsoever.
Look,
but okay.
if you're in your 20s / you're 46 and someone offers to go to Sex House Island, you're going to go. That's how you live. That's how Russian models do it.
She's
Get
the
it?
Tinder swindler.
She's the Tinder swindler.
Everybody's heading out. They're headed for the boat so they can shuttle on over to the island. But Clyde is still like, "I just don't feel right about this Jamie thing." So Clyde decides he's going to stop by Jamie's house. And Jamie lives with her grandmother.
The best. Oh, come on. Give it to me.
She's a very, very cranky old lady, and she gives zero fucks about anybody's
She is the equivalent of degaff all day. She does not give a fuck. As soon as Clyde knocks on the door, she's only and always in a white robe. Nothing else.
Yes.
Ladies over 70 cannot wear anything
They
else.
don't have the time or
They don't
energy
have
to
time
get
or
dressed.
energy. They are over it.
I
Immediately
got dressed
answers,
for 75 years. I'm not getting dressed now.
hell no. And she immediately opens the door and just like,
Who?
"Who are you? What the hell are you doing here? I don't give a shit. She's at the river." Like, just no fucks. And he's like,
I'm a friend of Jamie's, Deputy Clyde Barnes.
I've never heard her mention you.
Well, have you seen her today? Because she didn't show up for work, and her boss was a little bit worried.
I would
Yeah,
be
he's like, "I'm real worried about Jamie." And she's like,
I'm sure she is. She went down to the lake earlier, and she's probably still there.
"She's fine. She went jet skiing in a swamp earlier. I'm sure nothing went wrong whatsoever. I saw her chasing some bubbles down by the water. She's good."
"Oh, you know Jamie. She loves to touch bubbles that happen in that swamp. That's what she does. That's what she's known for. Okay, get out of here. You get. Come on, get. She loves to chase those bubbles. Her name in high school was Swamp Bubble Chaser Jamie, okay? You get the hell out of my front yard." Like, she does not give a flying fuck that a police officer is at her
Bubble
house.
Chaser Jamie. It's like the longest nickname.
It's like, "My name is Jamie, but my friends call me Swamp Bubble Chaser Jamie Popper, who reaches down and pops bubbles in the swamps. That's what they call me. That's my nickname."
Everyone's like, it's almost not worth it to make fun of her because it takes a really long time.
The grandma's like, "Yeah, that was my plan. I started that. Get the hell off my lawn." This grandma does not give a fuck.
She's like, who are you anyway? And he's like, Clyde, I'm a friend of Jamie's. And she's like, she does not talk about you. I have no idea who you are. And he's like, Clyde. And he's like, again, nothing, no one,
God
nothing.
bless
No one
Clyde,
ever
you
says your
guys.
name, Clyde.
He's derpy. He thinks everyone's friends with him. No one knows who he is.
And Clyde's like, well, have you checked with the owner of the tackle shop? And she's like, that guy?
Oh, Mac. He's probably drunk as a skunk. He wouldn't notice if she was there or not.
Okay, so Grandma she's taking no prisoners, has no time for this. But Clyde he wanders on down to the wooden beach road.
I would say he kind of like slaunters. Like he like kind of like has this sexy
Saunters?
like smooth saunters. Is that the word? Like where you kind of like sway
Yes.
back and forth down
So
to the
he
swamp.
does the same thing, pulls a Jamie 100%, except there are no bubbles. He just gets on his hands and knees and reaches his arm down into the water he can't see. And guess what pops up?
A croc. Not a croc that you're thinking. A croc shoe. A croc shoe. And guess what? He pulls it out and it's filled with the foot. He freaks the fuck out, flies into the swamp, and then lands on
Off
the
the
leg.
other side of the deck.
Or the wooden beach road.
Or
And
the
he
wooden
flies
beach road.
off, falls into the water with the croc, and then a leg pops up and he's like, oh shit. Okay.
Okay, this is getting real right now. This is getting real. At the same time, we cut back very quickly to Mrs. Biggins' house, and she's looking for Fluffy, and it's a really sweet way that she's calling her dog.
Fluffy! 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 Fluffy!
Mrs. Biggins is not the robe lady. We're talking
Right.
Alanis Morissette, Lisa Loeb, who we talked about earlier.
Who lives in the
Who
swamp.
lives in the actual swamp.
So she's calling her dog in a very loving, not psycho way at all. And you think, because we've like said over and over again that gators are eating dogs, you think that Fluffy's going to have been consumed by a gator. Nope, you guys, Mrs. Biggins gets freaking chomped by that gator in front of her own goddamn house. He's like, this is my house now, Mrs. Biggins.
Because she does the same thing that everyone does. They see something in the water and they bend down, reach full over, look full down into the water. Don't do that.
It's
Stop
kind
doing
of
that.
like in shark movies where you're like, the shark can only eat you if you get in the water. Otherwise, just stay out of the water and there's no story.
Yeah.
There's no movie. Nothing happens, right?
Yeah, no.
But these people keep venturing into the water, into the swamp,
And that little
or onto the
trickster
wooden boat road.
alligator, who is somehow magnificently more intelligent than others because he's albino, knows how
Right.
to get him every time.
When your body doesn't waste the energy on producing color, it's got all this other energy to place
Mhm,
other places. So it goes right to your brain and you just create actually more brain cells. That's
That
how
makes
that
sense.
works.
That makes
I don't
sense.
know
You
if
should write
know
for sci-fi
that,
movies.
but am I nerdy enough to do that or am I geeky enough to do that?
I don't know. Nerdy, I would say, but I don't know. Don't want to cause controversy. But you know what another sick thing about this scene is? Fluffy just watches it happen.
That's very true. He's
Fluffy
like, not my
just-
problem.
Up in the bushes, like, yeah, that bitch deserves to die. Just watching it. There's a full scene of Fluffy watching her scream, and he's just like, don't care, Fluffy.
Yeah, I actually feel nothing about this. Bye.
Don't care, bye. Okay, so right down from where the grandma lives in her white robe, who does not give a fuck. After Clyde finds the leg, the police come down, and the grandma comes down in her white robe. She doesn't even take the. She doesn't even bother to get fucking
Doesn't even get
dressed.
dressed.
Like, the police are calling you down to a crime scene where your granddaughter could have been munched by an alligator, and you don't even take the time to put on culottes, okay? She's a grandma. She doesn't care. She's like, oh, I don't care. Show me something that really matters, and I'll put on these damn clothes. So she walks down, and you guys, she honestly is such degaff. She's like,
Who's that? Who are you? What's that smell? Something ain't right here. Where are you pushing me? I can get there myself. Are you sure that's her? Are you sure that's my Jamie?
don't tell me that's my Jamie. It's not my Jamie. And they're like, yeah, we think it is. Although, how do they know? How does anyone know?
Because she has a tattoo on her ankle on the one leg
Oh,
they
and he
found.
found
It
the
comes up
leg.
later. I don't want to
Okay.
explain it, but that's how they know.
So even though they're like, oh, the tattoo that we found on this severed leg is Jamie's, and she doesn't even care. She just goes back and watches Golden Girls. But my
And
favorite
they
thing
try to
about
help her, and she's like, don't push me. She's just so, it's almost like she's irritated that they had to interrupt her day to tell her that
What makes
Jamie
this
was
grandma
consumed
happy?
by a gator.
what makes you happy? Hey, what makes you
You know what,
happy? I just
Grams?
want to know because we're
Just
confused.
tell us what you
Your
need.
granddaughter just died, but what makes you happy? But our favorite scene is they pan over and there's a giant blue tarp, like, and you would think that there were all these body parts. Nope,
Right.
just one little baby leg, Jamie's
Just one
leg,
leg.
and the croc that
And,
her foot was in.
Yeah, not the croc. A croc.
A croc that her foot was in.
And Sam, who we mentioned earlier, just happens to appear out of nowhere in every scene, is now at this scene on the tarp. And he has he's the tackiest of tacky when it comes to dealing with this crime scene because Grandma's right there. And he's like,
looks like you boys got a gator attack. I'd say the rest of her's either in the belly of the beast or fish food.
well, the rest of her's in the belly of the beast. And after that, she's fish food. And they're like, okay, well, maybe we should find this gator. Like, this seems dangerous. And he's like, listen, this gator just ate Jamie. So he's actually going to be full for a very long time. You may not be able to find him. And the grandma's just standing there like, did you just call Jamie fish food?
She wouldn't care either way.
That's
would not
true.
give a fuck either
She's
way.
like, that might be your new nickname, Jamie Fish Food, Bubble Pop or Swamp.
I gotta go catch my golden girls. Get off me. Don't push me. So
But now we know Sam's getting involved. That's all.
We'll get everything wrapped up here, Sheriff. Sent off to the morgue for you. I'll probably have something for you in a few days. Thank you, Agent. Thank you. Thank you. Hell of a welcome party.
So we meet up with the 42-year-old college kids that are getting ready to go. So Jamie does not show up to go on this big pontoon boat, this fancy pontoon boat that...
It's ferrying everybody over to Sex House Island.
Matt, it's 5 o'clock. She's obviously not coming, dude. Let's go.
She said she'd be here, all right? Just let me call her one more time.
Maddie's worried, but they're like, oh, she'll catch a ride with Travis.
Matt, I just texted her and told her to catch a ride with Travis. You want to get out there and choose the good rooms before other people get out there.
Get in the boat.
Besides, after she has to ride out here with Travis, you're going to look like a prince.
He's just really busy almost hitting childs. He's almost hitting multiple children in the road. He'll be here soon. He's coming separate. He's so rich that he can get here anyway. Probably helicopter, Uber helicopter. So they all head out to Sex Party Island, and it's going to be a crazy time.
I always forget how far away this place is.
Yeah, no one can hear you scream.
After kids arrive, the first batch of kids arrive to Sex Party Island, we meet up with Brenda, who's in the middle of, again, a swamp. And you guys, she's got a human femur bone. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. She's got a human femur bone, and she's tapping it on her forehead, and she's like...
So still no sight of the pod. Judging by the size of this nest, this is one really big group of animals. Or just one really big one.
Just what could be happening outside of Nolans?
Like it's my think bone.
And I'm like, bitch, you've got Mrs. Higgins' bone? Is this some kind of sick revenge? Because you did not like that woman. You're now using her femur bone to think with? What kind of sick monster are you? But it doesn't explain.
Giant femur.
It doesn't explain but I'm assuming as an audience member, you're like, oh, well, Brenda's an alligator expert, so of course she's going to have a human femur bone. That's how you
That's
determine.
just how they deal with it. It's fine.
And she's like tapping herself on the head like, what could be eating all these doggies in close to Nolans? And then guess what? Sam pops up.
Sam! You scared the shit out of me.
He slinks out of the nowhere
never mind
behind
that he
the
was
log.
just doing the crime scene investigation on Jamie's leg. And
That's very true.
He ends up, no explanation, literally walks out of the weeds and shows up next to Brenda, who's been in the swamp.
Then he grabs Brenda's thinking femur, looks at it, and he goes, not her. Throws it down on the ground, and I'm like, this is not how you treat human bones. What is going on? What?
He just looks at it and determines it's not her. How does he even know that? Just one eyeball.
How do you know? As Brenda,
He's a
I'd be
crime
like,
scene investigator and just one eye on that femur and knows that's the right one.
not her, not Mrs. Higgins.
Like, it's somebody's though, right?
So maybe you shouldn't
throw it.
Maybe you shouldn't throw that back in the swamp. And if I was Brenda, I'd be like, this guy seems like a massive serial killer. Like, what is going on?
She tries to intercept it.
Actually,
let's maybe not throw that.
That's a femur bone that I need. I think a gator ate that.
Even
Weird
if we don't
conversation.
know whose it is my thinking femur. So maybe just let me keep it.
You just took my thinking femur on the ground. That's really freaking rude. Just trying to explain. She's like, see, okay. So when you throw a femur on the ground and it's not yours, that means it's someone's thinking femur. So they have this.
That means somebody's leg was in there, and then when it was in their leg, then I used it as a thinking femur. So like, just don't throw them. Just don't throw femurs.
Don't throw them. Sam, just fuck off. Just don't throw them.
So Sam, who has popped out of left field to pick up the thinking femur and toss it back in the swamp, is like, guess what?
Looks like you were right about your large gator.
What do you mean?
Some poor girl went and got herself chomped.
Is she...
Yeah, dead.
You were right. You were right. There's a gator killing. There's a gator killing kids. She's like, oh, did you come all the way out here in the swamp to tell me that? He also mentions, as a side note, that he met the new sheriff in town. He's like, he's a real nice guy. He came from up north. He came here to retire. And I'm like, did we all misunderstand what the word retire means?
He's obviously not retired.
He came here to be the sheriff.
He came to be the head sheriff, Mr. Jones. Okay, Sheriff Jones.
Out in the field, Brenda's like, I think I'm actually just going to call this Sheriff Jones myself because I don't know about you, but I'm an alligator expert, and I think he probably needs one of those just on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and call him, make sure this doesn't get screwed up or mishandled. So she calls the office.
Clyde.
Rings and rings and rings. Sheriff Jones refuses to pick up the phone. He hates working. And so Clyde eventually picks it up. He says, listen, this lady on the phone, she's an alligator expert. We're gonna need her help. And he's like,
we still have to go through all the forensics. But we got a hell of a lot of paperwork to do, which I hate. So we just tell this gal, thanks, no thanks.
Okay, again, I get it. You hate working. You think you're under the impression that you are retired. But again, same as Sam, he physically threw the femur bone. You're metaphorically throwing the femur bone and being like, it's not my problem.
But my favorite part is Clyde answers the phone and he doesn't put Brenda on hold. He just literally is the person in between. He's just like the liaison. So he's just like, it's Brenda on the phone. She's an alligator expert. Brenda can clearly hear Sheriff Jones being like, I don't want to talk to her. I got Jamie in the background as sheriff. And Brenda's like, wait, Jamie died? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, there's another body? And he's like, and I've got to do this? And he's like, wait, I didn't know this. Mrs. Higgins died? What? Because Sheriff Jones is just like, I've got all these forensics to do. And Clyde is not putting her on hold. He's not even putting the phone down on his chest because it is a landline. Because obviously, as cops, you can't have cell phones. So he's just like literally holding it up to his mouth. And he's like, Sheriff Jones says he doesn't want you involved. All right. Brenda says she wants to be involved. Wait. Okay, Brenda, now Sheriff Jones is saying he's got a lot of forensics to do. Oh, Brenda's saying she's going to come down in 30 minutes. Just talk to her, Sheriff Jones. Just talk to Brenda directly.
Put her on speaker at the very fucking least. At the very fucking least,
put her on speaker. Like, let's just cut the middleman. Clyde, get out of here. Let's just talk about it.
Bless his heart. He's trying. So she's like, you don't have a choice. I don't know about you, but I'm the gator expert. So I'm going to go ahead and be there in 30 minutes.
Oh, you'll be here in 30 minutes? Closer than I thought.
So she finishes up her little conversation with Sam. Our friend Sam is looking in the distance with her pair of Brenda's binocs. And she's like, oh, hey, Sam, what you looking at, little guy? What you looking at, bud? And he's like,
you're never going to believe me.
And she's like, you know what? I've heard it all today. I may have even said some of it today. Just tell me what you saw.
What sounds crazy, if crazy's floating in if crazy's swimming in the water, then it's not a log. So just tell me what you saw.
If crazy's thinking a log is an alligator, then yeah.
Wait, did you pick up my thinking femur? Because, I really need that right now. So let me
go find it real quick. I'm going to go touch some bubbles. He says,
I think I just saw a white gator.
I think I saw an albino alligator. And she's like,
look, albino gators are incredibly rare. If there was one in these parts, I would definitely know about it.
And he's like, okay, but it looked albino. And she's like, trust me, it was an optical illusion, some light flipped off the water, or a bird, whatever. I would know. Again, gator expert, I would know.
Sometimes people throw, okay, listen. Okay, so sometimes marshmallows, right? People are putting marshmallows. They're doing, camping marshmallows. They throw marshmallows in water. If the marshmallow's not floating, it's not gator. It's not gator, okay? It's a marshmallow. And he's like, okay, Brenda, you know what?
Okay, Brenda. Can I drive you back into town? Is that okay?
Okay, well, whatever. Wow. Also, I love how Sheriff Jones is just refusing to see Brenda because he's like, I've got to investigate these alligator crimes. And she's like, dude, I'm the resident alligator expert.
Yeah.
He's
like, I am up to my neck in alligator deaths. And she's like, again, gator expert. Again, the one resource you need.
Research the town you're living in. She's the gator expert. If people are getting attacked by gators, you need Brenda on your side. You know she's going to be calling.
The first one. She should be the first one on the list.
We're met back at Sex Island College Retreat. Sex House Island. And everyone has shown up, including the last crew of really, really young college-age kids. Travis and Melody, the Russian model that he found at the tackle shop, the bait and tackle shop.
Who tagged along with he and Kim.
She's on the boat with him. And they arrive, and Maddie's like,
Where's Jamie?
I called her a dozen times when she didn't show up to work.
Wait, she didn't show up to work?
It's no big deal. Maybe something happened to her grandma.
Kim's like, I don't know. She just shot up first shift. She didn't even come. I don't know.
Yeah, she's still mad about that.
So, I don't know. If I was anybody's friend at all, even if I wasn't that good of friends with them, I'd be like, I want to make sure they're coming to Sex Beach Island. Like
Sex House Island.
Sorry, Sex House Island, which you
That's
dubbed
its official name.
So Kim is obviously, I don't know, maybe her and Jamie had a backstory, I don't know. But like no one cares that Jamie's not
Maybe
there.
they're fighting over Travis.
Maybe they are. No, Maddie.
No, Travis, the rich guy, because they both work at the tackle store.
That's
It makes
true.
me more sense if it's Travis.
But Jamie's wanting to date Maddie. I don't know. No, Maddie's wanting to date Jamie. You know what? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We're making up things that aren't real.
Yes, because that's what we do. Jamie is not there and nobody gives a fuck except for Maddie. But Travis, the rich guy who came and almost hit children with his truck, he's like, It doesn't matter, Matt. Jamie's gone. She's not here. No one cares. But I have this really pretty Russian girl that I picked up at the bait and tackle shop in town.
Named Melody. Melody's like,
I come to this town every summer.
And does this not feel a little bit like trafficking to you? They just took a random girl from the bait and tackle shop and now they're giving her to Maddie.
Well, they're all of age and Melody has a say in this, I guess.
I mean, does
kind
she?
Of. I don't know. Well, she went with them then regardless. Let's not get into it.
Anyway.
And Maddie's like, I don't want Melody, this Russian girl that you met at the bait and tackle shop in town that we all know about.
But she's a model, and why wouldn't you want a model? And he's like, I mean, come to shove.
Well, if you said a model, okay. Well, okay.
Then you really changed my mind.
So now we've got all the kids at Sex Island House.
The other thing that's really important that happens here is that as they're trying to pawn Melody off on to Maddie, it turns out, guys, that they know Melody from their childhood.
Come on, Melody. I am sure that I've invited you here for some event of debauchery.
Nope. You know, Claudia, you've always been nice to me, but I wasn't exactly in this crowd, you know?
Russian grandma chick. Oh, Metalback Melody. Now I remember. Well, okay, well, you look hot now.
Metal Melody, because she had to wear a brace on her back, kind of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion-esque, and they made fun of her relentlessly. And Travis is like, oh, it doesn't matter now, you're hot, whatever.
How big is this town? Like,
yeah,
how
it
big is
feels
this
tiny.
town? Like, you would think that everybody, even if you came to vacation here and you grew up here, everyone would know Metal Melody. Everyone would know.
That's the thing about small towns.
I guess. Regardless, they all go up into Sex Island House. Sex
House Island.
And two people who are not even given names, just so you know that the gator's nearby. They're like, we're going to spend a little bit of time before dinner romantically. And so they go out on this, like, I don't know.
Little tiny rowboat, you guys.
The tiniest
Teeny
rowboat.
little rowboat.
But because alligators...
To have sex on the rowboat, just to be clear.
Which everyone has sex on rowboats. It's easy. It doesn't shake
doesn't
and move.
require
And it's
balance or anything.
It doesn't require balance. Very comfortable. Very easy to do. You don't fall in the water. But because alligators, everyone knows, don't ever attack anybody in rowboats. And even if you're albino, you're not going to actually like flip a rowboat. She's like, before we have sex on this rowboat, I'm going to be playful and jump in water. You got to come get me. So she jumps in the water like a
I got a better idea. And she jumps in the water. I'm like, never is it ever a better idea.
Not a better idea? Having sex in this rowboat right now. You know what? That's not a better idea. What's a better idea is me mounting you on this rowboat. Come on. Like, again, and why in all these sci-fi movies do people do wild,
I'm waiting for both
non-realistic sexual things? Like, why?
I was just really wanting to see the sex scene play out, though. Like, I wanted to see them balance in the rowboat, teetering in the middle of the lake.
The alligator's like, you know what? These guys got enough struggles in their lives. I'm
not going to make this harder for them.
I'm full of Jamie. I'm full of Mrs. Biggins. You know what?
They just start swimming backwards like the sharks from Deep Blue Sea.
You know what? You got this, buddies. You do this. No, she decides to be like all flirty, jump in the water. It's a whole Jaws situation. Moonlight, alligator gets them. So now you know that the albino alligator, we think,
is still out there
around the area. Okay?
I mean, all of the kids on Sex House Island witnessed these deaths, right? They don't know who these people are. They're like, what were their names? Do you remember by any chance who those were?
Literally,
Mike?
the subtitles say
Mike,
brunette
Rachel?
woman screaming at man's name. And so they're all like, oh my gosh, guys. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
people that you can't.
Oh my gosh,
came with
wow,
us.
they're eating brunette girl that came to the island with us. This is crazy. Let's go get her. And I will say, brunette girl, she swims back to Wooden Boardwalk Beach Road to beach. She's trying to get on a paddleboard, and everyone's watching her like, you get it, girl. You get back up there. We're not going to save you, you brunette girl. And she's like, someone help
You're
me.
almost there, brunette.
She's reaching out her arm. Her body is almost fully out of the water, and everyone's like, you almost got it. We're not going to go down and save you. You get it.
But we will cheer you on from
a safe distance. No one tries, because they don't know her.
And they don't want to look like schmucks for not knowing her name.
You know what? We're going to come get you, Brittany? Brescica? What? Is her name Jessica? They're all just debating, and she's being eaten, but she's so close. Yep. So they're all murderers in my book. But anyway, I digress.
You know what? They'll all die guilty. It's fine. 2 nameless people who died, may they rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Their sole function was to show the kids on Sex House Island that there is a deadly alligator on the loose, because keep in mind, they've sort of been in a different part of the island. Their brains have been completely focused on getting over to Sex House Island. They don't know that Jamie's dead. They just think she didn't show up for work that day. They're not with Brenda. They're not with Sam. They're not with Sheriff Jones or Clyde. So they're just there to facilitate the fear of the group of kids on Sex House Island by watching those people die.
And I still would feel like if I was with a group of friends and one of them was trying to really date the other one, who obviously knows them, and they didn't show up, I would be like, hey, let's figure out what happened to Jamie. Like if any one of my friends,
if she's been planning this trip with us,
like she planned this trip, she obviously knew Maddie's schedule freakily. Like obviously she should come. We should figure out what happened. If she didn't, and even if my coworker was like,
there's
she didn't show
rush.
up.
We don't need to get there super early. It's not a big deal.
Even if your coworker was like, hey, she didn't show up to work, I'd be like, well, is she sick? Should we bring her soup? Like, let's at least get a text back from Jamie.
Check in her. Is she conscious still?
Something.
Anything.
No one cares.
I don't know if you heard their debate, but whoever gets to Sex House Island first gets to pick the best room for sex. So, like, it is kind of important to get there first.
I did miss that, so screw everything I just said. Get to Sex House Island. I want that best room. Sorry, Jamie. Bye. Don't care if you got murdered by a croc. Bye.
Did we already say on the island they can't use their cell phones? I can't remember.
We didn't, actually.
Okay, so that's one more thing to remember before we leave the Sex House Island for the moment. They cannot get cell phone reception. That's part of the beauty of Sex House Island. But they are going to go on the hunt for a landline in Travis's massive sex house. So Brenda shows up to the sheriff's office.
Brenda Gray, you can call me Brenda.
And Sheriff Jones, don't worry, he has a whole stack of shit. And he's like,
Brenda Gray, the same Brenda Gray who recently had a DUI and assault charges?
oh, are you Brenda?
Yeah, I'm Brenda.
Are you Brenda Gray?
Yeah, spelled Gray, not Grey. Yeah, gator expert.
Hey, are you the Brenda Gray that has a DUI?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're driving, that's a DUI, and you're drunk. If you're not driving, you pass out in your car, and you're still not a DUI, okay? So, like a gator that swims or a log that floats. Same thing.
Also, Brenda Gray, the one who has a physical assault charge with that?
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so listen. Okay, so just like a log floating, not alligator swimming. If you move your fist, it's an assault. If someone runs into your fist, not assault. They ran into your fist. So, okay. Nice to meet you, Mr. Jones. As well.
I don't know if I should listen, Gator Expert. Gator Expert Brenda.
Gator Expert Brenda, that's what they used to call me in high school. And I was not met by anybody else except that prom queen bitch, Jamie, who won Jamie Swamp Bumpin' Bubbles. She was a fucking hoe.
You know, they mean when she says she's popping all the bubbles, you know. You know
what I'm talking about. Regardless, nice to meet you, Sheriff Jones. Let's go down lab.
Sheriff, those charges have been taken care of and should be of no concern to you or this case. I am the alligator expert in this region. I'm called upon successfully, I might add, for all matters concerning gator attacks. So here I am.
I find it hella ironic that Sheriff Jones has bitched about doing paperwork and doing his goddamn job since the moment we met him, yet he has to stack the mile high when it comes to trying to get rid of Brenda. He's like, oh, I will do the research. I will do the research when it comes to Brenda.
But
I have
Brenda's got
no
an
problems
excuse.
with that.
Not an excuse. She's got reasoning behind everything he throws at her, just like we proved.
Then they get into a little argument about the morality of the gator because Sheriff Jones is like, I mean, this gator seems like a real asshole if it's running around killing people. She's like, yes, a gator, it doesn't actually have a moral compass. And he's like, I don't know, killing people seems pretty evil. And she's like, again?
When you're killing people because you're hungry versus killing people because you're angry, it's two different things. Okay? If you're hungry, you want to kill people and fill your stomach. Okay? But if you're angry at people, you're going to kill them for evil. Okay? So just keep that in mind, Mr. Jones. He's like, Sheriff Jones.
Brenda is such a pro that even when she's wasted, she still makes some points. She
still some very valid points. It's an animal. Okay? Wow, you walk a mile in its shoes, huh? Wow, you live in a swamp.
Animals don't wear shoes, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm
go
saying.
blow bubbles and kill someone, okay? You get it, okay?
Sheriff Jones, he's done his fair share of work for that day, right? He's dug up the shit on Brenda. He's got a stack of her records, so he's got nothing else to give that day. So he's like, Clyde, you go with Brenda, go to the morgue. I know you guys wanted to look a little bit closer at Jamie's leg just to see what you could find. And guess who pops up in a frame out of nowhere with no context and no explanation? Oh, right, it's Sam.
What, are you following me?
Just came to drop these files off to the sheriff.
Never mind, he was just in the bayou like 2 minutes ago. Now he's at the morgue. And he's like, oh, it's so funny that you guys are headed there because I actually am a crime scene investigator and I would love to just pop on in there with you if that's okay. They
and
say,
Brenda's
that's great.
That's great, but haven't you gone to Nolans yet? Aren't you on
Why are
flight
you
to
moving to
Nolans?
Nolans?
He's like, not yet. Tomorrow morning. Let's go to the morgue.
Brenda and Clyde and Sam are now in the morgue. And Brenda is applying the scientific method to her study at the moment. And she's sitting in the morgue going,
Gator. Not gator. Gator. Not gator.
she's like, you know what? I actually remember something that I worked a case in Atlanta, and I happen to have this scrapbook of it.
Now I made this scrapbook of this case that's very detrimental and very similar to the case that's going on now.
Let me grab it. It's like Brenda's favorite gator memories. It's got calligraphy and everything. But as Sam starts flipping through it, he's like, oh my God, this is like serial killer porn. And she's like, right. There was
not
proof
serial
of gator
killer porn.
involvement.
Because there's a gator involved. Well, that's why I made a scrapbook. I took a class on Etsy, different than gator porn.
So the point is that, yeah, we've established that there was a serial killer in Atlanta, but there was also proof of gator involvement. That phrase is used.
There's evidence of gator involvement.
Gator involvement.
I see what's going on here.
They don't quite know how yet, but they know there was gator involved. So they decide...
I don't want to lead the audience on, but I think I know what's going on here.
So they decide one more time to look closely because she's like, there's just something that's not quite right about this. And so they decide to look one more time at the incision on Jamie's leg, and then they pull out a mysterious little piece of metal.
I mean, wait, do you see this?
No, what is it?
Oh no. You think you can get it? Explain that, Sam.
They don't explain it.
To you. Nope. Don't describe it. Don't explain it. Put it in a little plastic bag because that's what you do in your CSI.
And he mails it to or somehow gets it to the main office. And he's like, you know what? You guys go. I'll stay here and wait for the results from the main office. So he just sleeps by the fax machine. Everybody else heads out the door.
Meanwhile, we're met with our group of people at Sex House Island, and they're freaking out because they're friends that they don't know their names, don't know who they were, but they came along.
Dead now.
They're dead now, and they're freaking out. And I'm like, you guys, it was an alligator. You don't have to freak out.
Just don't get in the water.
Like,
just stay inside
in the water. Just stay in the water. But my favorite thing is Claudia, who is, they don't really explain, but she's Jason's girlfriend, the one that straddled him earlier. Earlier in the scene, she had seen an alligator and she's like, she stops and everyone's like, what are you looking at, Claudia? And she's like, I swear it's looking at me. And then there's a pan over to an alligator who's looking directly at her from the water. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, it's looking directly at you. It's an alligator. It's looking at you. I'm like, just don't go in the water. Anyway, they're freaking out, but the power goes out at Sex Beach Island. And now there's no cell phone service. There's no
storm
power.
Either, you guys. It's not like a typical movie where like a storm happens. No, somehow mysteriously, or maybe not mysteriously, they lose like their phone line. They lose the electricity.
All of a sudden it cuts to a scene from the guy from Sand Sharks who's like, I'll fix this right up. I'll get it right fixed up. But he died, but still his
Meanwhile,
ghost is
Sand
picking
Sharks
up.
take him out.
So they're all freaking out like, oh my gosh, the power's gone out. Our two friends that we don't know their names who came with us mysteriously died, but not so mysteriously. It's an alligator. We're on a swamp. They died.
And the alligator has chomped the boat. So the boat was tied up to the, or what was it called? The wooden
beach dock.
Swamp road? I can't remember what it's called.
Wooden swamp road, whatever.
So it was tied up with a rope, and the alligator chomped that rope in the process of killing the brunette. And so now their boat is floating away. But don't you worry, because the best scene in the movie is coming up.
Travis and Jason, they're on the wooden boat road to the beach. And they're like, what do? We got to get this boat. And Travis is like, I'll jump. You tie a rope around my waist and I'll jump to it. Then you can pull the boat back.
And the guy's like,
no.
It's at least 20 yards.
You guys, it's not 20 yards. It's maybe 6 feet away. So you're like, okay, Travis, you go, you rich dick. You're going to do it. So they tie the thing around him. Travis jumps. He leaps off that wooden road. No, barely misses it. He jumps maybe. He doesn't even jump. He kind of just falls.
He's trying to sell that it's a big jump, right? But it's too close. And you can see his jump be like, oh shit, I'm going to hit the back of this boat. So he kind of tries to like kick back midair so he doesn't
even push off.
Slam.
He doesn't even push off. He just like falls off the balcony and balcony, wooden boat road.
Wooden boat road.
And Jason's like, oh my God, you stupid idiot. This is a bad idea. But don't worry. He's okay. He goes to the boat. He grabs it. He's about to get on it. Nope.
Travis!
No.
Gator gets him. Albino gator gets him.
Sorry, guys.
And Jason's pulling the rope. It's very Jaws. Like, what's going on here? What?
Oh,
my goodness.
Real light all of a sudden.
Like, come on, dude. You know. And so then all that floats up is poor Travis, his little torso.
Oh, Trav, you tried.
You tried.
But you tried.
You rich. But before he jumps, he does take off his Italian shirt.
Yeah, because he's rich, you guys.
It's Italian.
He's rich.
I can't do it.
He's not going to get his Italian shirt.
So now these guys are struck without the rich guy. What are they going to do? They don't have any money to get off this island. And it's just a total shit show from here on.
As they're so, because you know what happens with the rich kids or the kids on Sex House Island is essentially for the rest of the movie, they're just sitting in a room freaking out. No action actually takes place. Just every now and then someone will wander out to the water and get chomped and the rest of them will start crying and then they'll end up back in the living room.
But my favorite is like they all want to have a drink. And when you have a drink when you're stressed, you're like drinking. But they pour these really casual drinks and they're like, oh my gosh, Travis died. And then they like swirl their wine and take a sip. Oh my gosh, Travis died.
This is a really great berry underflavor. I love it. It's oaky.
I'm like, no, you chug an alcohol to get de-stressed at this point.
Brenda is going to do one last thing. She has one last idea in order to gather total proof. So she takes Clyde out on a little rowboat. Okay, this is another great idea. Guys, it's the middle of the night. It's dark, dark, dark. Not a light in the sky, not a moon, not a flashlight.
Best time to
They're
go
in
out.
this itty bitty teeny tiny rowboat. And Clyde's like,
And what do we do if this gator attacks?
Well, if you're feeling brave, you can whack it on the ears and the shock will send it running.
How do you know where the ears are?
Well, I know because I'm the gator expert.
well, I know because I'm the gator expert. But if by chance one pops out of the water, just smack it with a stick and it'll shock them. So, she's a gator
Smack it with a
expert.
stick, shock it. I'll go back on wire. Brilliant plan.
I mean, if you got it with a stick, would you like it?
Just
no.
saying. Okay,
That'd
Clyde,
be
do it.
scary. So she does what is comparable to Jamie sticking her hand in the bubs in the swamp. She sticks her hand in the black water, can't see a darn thing, sticks her arm right in, and something snaps on her. And she's like, what the fuck? That was not an alligator. That was something mechanical. And so she fishes down there once more, pulls pulls out the trap. And you guys, it's a man-made trap that's meant to mimic alligators. And as Sam says,
you stop it right now.
It's trained to snap and drag like an alligator bite.
This is all coming full circle. I hate it.
So at this moment, Sam is also getting the results from the, quote, main office that he's been waiting for. And so it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Brenda and Clyde pull up on shore. He says, I'm going to rush directly to Sheriff Jones. I'm going to tell him that we're figuring this out and we need to go get those kids off Sex House Island. She's like, I will separate. I'll go get Sam and we'll divide and conquer.
Because, and just so you guys know, listeners, there's nobody else at this lake. Nobody else ever goes by this lake. Nobody else is near it. They have to go to Sex Island because those are the only people on this lake at the beginning of summer. Right. Alligator's not going to attack anybody else. Duh.
No.
Only these people.
He knows who they are by name. That's what happens when you're a white alligator. You can learn names really well.
Albino alligator, not white alligator.
Keep in mind at this point, Clyde does not realize that there's anything to be suspicious of. He thinks Sheriff Jones is on his side. However, after he's already separated from Brenda, Brenda's going back into the sheriff's office and she finds Sheriff Jones' murder scrapbook.
Oh, shit.
And she's like, I also have a murder scrapbook.
Not a murder scrapbook. She's got a counter murder scrapbook that counters Sheriff Jones' murder scrapbook. I know I love to, when I go to an office and I start a new job, I love to leave a little scrapbook.
Right.
Like all of Colin's wrongdoings.
Everything I've ever done, that's shitty.
I stole that orange juice from the cafe. Like, it's all there just on the thing. And Sheriff...
I mean, in her defense, she is a little drunk because she's wearing his sheriff's hat and just sort of like digging through his drawers. And she's like,
stop, that's my favorite part. She's like, I'm going to wear his sheriff's hat because I'm going to pretend I'm a sheriff. Because I'm just a lonely croc expert. I'm going to show everybody I'm a sheriff. So she puts on his actual...
Gators, not about love.
No one wants to answer my phone call. Sheriff Jones don't want to do it, so Clyde answers. But I'm going to show him I'm a sheriff, too. She puts on his actual...
I'm going to tell him that deal. I was just like a one-time thing. It was only one deal. I only one time.
She puts it in a scrapbook. It's like, actually, Brenda didn't actually DUI. She was just having a good time. She actually was sleeping in her car. She wasn't driving. So it's not actually a driving under the influence. It's a parking under the influence. Little notes.
Yeah, so she has a corresponding scrapbook to his, and she realizes the killer was in Atlanta, and Sheriff Jones was from Atlanta, and Sheriff Jones has a knife in his desk that looks like a gator tooth.
I also just discovered a bear trap in the swamp from touching Bubbles, and that bear trap, guess what? It's actually a gator trap that looks like a catch and pull down like a gator would bite. Putting two to two together.
Listen, Brenda may be drunk as a skunk, but she is connecting the fucking dots, my friend. She is connecting the dots.
You mean that she's connecting the fucking dots?
I'm connecting the fucking dots, Reed. I'm just gonna feel sure about it, and I'm connecting the fucking dots.
So just to be completely clear, Sheriff Jones comes in from Atlanta. He wants to retire, but he's not really retired. So he makes some kind of elaborate electronical equipment that kills people, but he also trains an albino alligator to kill people in a spot. But why?
Yeah, I think he's scrapbooks in his office desk because he likes to look during his lunch break.
So I'm guessing that Sheriff Jones has got a real motive. I just can't quite figure out what it is. Because if you're going to train an alligator to kill people, but you also make elaborate electronical equipment under the water that mimics an alligator. I know, but I'm not sure how this works, but I'm Brenda. I'm going to figure it out. Or get a DUI trying.
Figure it out. DUI trying.
I'm going to get a DUI trying to figure out this plot because right now it still doesn't make total sense. I'm going to try. By the way, where's Clyde?
Clyde, you right? Hey, bud.
By the way, how about Clyde? I should go find that guy. He told me he's going to go help those kids on the island.
At the same time, Sam calls her and he's like, I've been sleeping by this fax machine all night. And guess what? Just got the confirmation fact. That was a piece of metal in Jamie's leg. So you're onto something, Buster. Then, as they're on the phone, you guys, they jinx it. They both say,
It's the sheriff.
It's the sheriff at the same time. Well, guys, at this point, Brenda realizes Clyde is alone with the sheriff on Sex House Island and doesn't know that he's the bad guy. Sam's like,
Just sit tight. I'll call in the state troopers.
Brenda's like,
I already called the state troopers. I'm going to Beaches Island. So where I said he was going.
actually, I just got another nuisance call. But if you wanted to stay here and then just tell the state troopers to head over to Sex House Island, that would be super helpful. Thanks, Sam. She paddles over on her boat.
Poor Sam.
Poor Sam. She comes ashore, and you guys, the first person she sees, I hate to
Clyde.
tell you this.
Clyde, poor baby. He's dead as a
But it's
doornail.
Clyde.
But he doesn't give any information up.
Colin, are you making a joke? Are you being sarcastic?
Does he say
Clyde
it's the
gives
sheriff?
all the fucking information at this moment.
Listen. The sheriff.
I know. You were right.
And there's...
What?
Oh, Brenda. It's not Jones.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's not just Jones.
Okay, look. We're going to get him, okay? We're going to nail his ass to the wall. It's okay.
Not just him.
What are you talking about?
Huge white gator.
Yeah, that's right. I thought he just died. He's dying.
Oh, by the way, Sheriff Jones is the murderer, and he traveled. He totally trained an albino alligator to kill everybody, and he's also creating mechanical traps under the water to kill people and mimic an alligator attack.
He literally gives the whole plot as he is bleeding out. So he gives all the information, my friend. So she sees him lying there. He's bleeding, and he's like, I don't. Okay.
You're really taking this very seriously. This is your time to shine. Do it. Do the monologue. Do the monologue. Go ahead. Go do it. Come on.
Timestamp.
She literally put her. Cadence literally put her hand over her mouth. She's tearing up right now. She's ready to really show you what Clyde had to say.
Part of it was also I realized that I needed to say something else, but I will wait until after I'm done with this. So he's dying, right? And she comes up to him. She's like, Clyde, you're right. It was Sheriff Jones. And he's like, it wasn't just him. And she's like, what? No. And she's like, it was also a giant white alligator. And she's like, I actually think you may be seeing the light on the other side. So just, I'm right here with you, bud. Just go ahead and let go.
You
You're
know what,
fine.
Clyde? I for sure think you're seeing a light, and I'm an alligator expert. There's no white alligators.
And so he goes,
He told me the whole story.
And she's like,
To
what, the alligator? The white alligator told you the story, you dumb fuck? You hallucinating? The white alligator told you the story? Chasing that white pony, buddy? Go get it.
poor Clyde unravels this tale. And here's the timestamp. Here's the story from his own dying mouth.
He said he took such pride in telling me he was chasing a guy through the sewers. And he heard an odd chirping sound. Apparently, the urban legends of people flushing gators down the toilet is true. Because he raised it and he says the only being he ever had a connection with. Apparently, had a penchant for human flesh.
Wait, he's trapping humans to feed his gator.
And he seemed to really enjoy it.
But he did this to you, right?
Both.
Clyde, are you telling me that the gator is still here?
I kind of am on Sheriff Jones's side at the time. I don't know. That's a pretty badass story.
As she's guiding Clyde, she doesn't see this 20-foot alligator. Guys, it's not even sneaking up behind her. Never mind, you couldn't sneak up behind because they're 20 feet alligator. It's coming up right in front of her. He's face to face with Brenda. And what does she do? Gets a stick, smacks it, shocks it. And he's like, ooh, that actually did work. And so the alligator backs up, gives her enough time to make an escape. So meanwhile, it's like Kim, Maddie, and Claudia, and they're all going crazy. They're turning on each other. Kim decides to run into the woods to make an escape because she thinks Maddie might be the one who's responsible for the murders. She runs into Sheriff Jones, and she gives him a hug, and she's like,
Oh my God, Sheriff! I'm so happy to see you. You have no idea what's been happening. Everybody's dead. Oh my God, Travis is dead. It's that mad hand, and he's crazy. He's insane.
and he's like, oh, shh, 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 shh.
Matt's not the murderer.
And then he stabs her, kills her, feeds her to the gator. Then that's when we see Brenda come out of the woods, and she's like, I know everything. I know it all. Clyde was dying, and he gave me the entire 10-minute rundown of your baby chirping gator. So I know exactly what you're up to, Buster.
I want to know, before Clyde died, did Sheriff Jones be like, hey, I'm going to tell you the whole story?
That's exactly why it made me laugh so hard.
Before my gator gets you, I'm going to tell you the whole story. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a mass murderer, which still has not been explained why. I trained a gator, found him chirping. Gonna kill y'all.
He's only a mass murderer because he found out that he only ever felt connected to this gator. The only thing the gator feels is a lust for blood. And the only thing Sheriff Jones feels is a lust for blood, my friend. So they're two in the same.
And retirement.
And retirement. A lust for blood, retirement.
And a good retirement pension. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's what made me giggle, because I'm like, did he stab him and then just sit down beside him and be like, oh,
Let me tell you this whole story about, I grew up in Atlanta in 1933.
She goes, Clyde told me everything. I've got state troopers coming. Sam's already called them. They're on their way. Like, you're over. This is over. I've got you cornered. And then the last second, she gets clomped over the head from behind. And you guys, this is the real kicker. This is the real kicker. Because guess who it is?
Not ready for it. Tell us.
It's Melody. Freaking metal Melody.
Russian at the bait and tackle shop. No
She comes
way
around
would a
from
Russian model
behind.
be at the bait and tackle shop. I knew it.
She's like,
Jeez, Jones. Didn't know you were going to be such a body count. So, what are you going to do with her?
oh, hey, baby. Did I get her in time? Are you okay? And he's like, I'm so proud of you, baby. And she's like, I knew you were going to let those bullies really have it. I can't believe they bullied me so bad. Thanks for letting me get all those bullies. And he's like, no problem. Shoots Brenda, so there's no chance of survival. Then, you guys, he feeds Melody to the gator immediately.
Wait, Melody was the one who helped him. She was the Russian lady who was bullied through her whole high school career, who none of these people knew about.
He
apparently.
just feels a lust for blood he does not care about. He doesn't care she's a Russian model.
He's
He does
connected to
not
that gator.
care.
He just connected to that gator's lust for blood. He feeds Melody right to his gator pet.
So he does not, for 1 second, feel bad about it. And then he says, as the gator's eating her, he's like,
I don't like loose ends.
I told you I don't like loose ends. So he comes
Jesus.
sauntering out of the woods. At that moment, a state trooper is there to meet him with Maddie and Claudia. He's like, you know what? I really hate to tell you this, but Brenda, she was drunk. She had a DUI. She had an assault charge. She was running around on the forest killing people. I shot her. She's dead. No need to worry. The state trooper's like, oh, okay, then I'll just have someone come in and clean up this scene, but then we'll be out of your hair. And I'm like, not again. Not an investigation. Not a femur bone in sight.
Don't care.
Nothing. Just take his word for it and get the hell out of there.
And also, Sam is gone. Sam, you never know.
Sam calls the state troopers, and we never see Sam again. And maybe
we
he went
never
to
see him.
Nolans. Maybe he just up and left.
He went to Nolans. He does not care at all. He's like, let's
Does not
Nolans,
care.
sorry.
He got turned down one last time. Then he's like, you know what? Fine. Bye. I'm actually going now. Too bad for you. Sheriff Jones is like, well, while you state troopers are just cleaning up this mess, don't worry. I will take Maddie and Claudia home safely in the boat. So he loads them in the boat.
Don't trust it.
He's like, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. It's all over now. And they're like, we survived. We survived. And then what do you know? What pops up behind that boat?
A gator. But an albino gator, I'm guessing.
The albino gator just waiting for some food. Here's one of my many hangups in this moment. It's the end. Guys, this is the end.
That's the end.
You see that Sheriff Jones is the bad guy and that the 2 surviving kids are also going to get thrown to the gator. He had the perfect setup, though. He just explained to the state trooper that Brenda was running crazy in the woods, killing kids. He stopped her. He saved the day. And now he's going to take these 2 kids back. So, like, at this point, if those 2 kids end up eaten by gators and he's the only one left behind, I think someone's going to put 2 and 2 together and be like, maybe, just maybe, Sheriff Jones is behind all this because we left those last 2 surviving kids with him and all of a sudden they're also missing. So it feels like a bad choice on his part because he has a cover. He can pin it all on Brenda, but
also,
whatever.
My biggest thing with this movie is what the fuck does a albino alligator have to do with any of this? Sheriff Jones? He could have found a non-albino alligator chirping in that sewer. Could have trained him just the same. Could have made his electronic traps to bait. Also, I got a few questions, okay?
Okay.
This is a swamp in the middle of nowhere. Mrs. Higgins, for instance. Why you create a trap to kill her? Why? Because she has a dog? Because she lives in the swamp? What is your motive for killing these people? Okay.
Maybe he doesn't have a motive. Maybe there's no rhyme or reason. It's just however many people he can kill with getting away with it and getting out of that town.
I guess he had that connection with that albino croc. But if it had not been albino, would he have that connection? Also, are you an engineer? Did you go to engineering school? How do you know how to create these traps that are grab and pull?
Mimic alligators.
Yeah, grab and pull. Also, have a little device that's like a little bubble machine. Like, just add a little flair to it, or little bubbles. Like, that would take like years.
That is elaborate.
So I just
because it isn't just the traps; it is the bubbles, it is the luring, it is the whole thing.
How do you train an alligator to kill people? And you know what? That alligator actually didn't do shit. That alligator didn't do nothing.
You got really mad at that last second. That alligator didn't do shit.
You know what? You did everything. You an alligator would have not have even to be involved in this. You could have just created the mechanical dragon pulls the whole time. Killed the same people you wanted to kill.
The old DPs. Make the DPs.
The old DPs. The dragon pulls. You could have created those regardless of an alligator. And you could have created those with the same anger because your Russian girlfriend got bullied in high school. You could have created those regardless. You don't need an alligator involved in this.
No. You're misunderstanding what's happening. So he's not...
Surprise.
He's not getting revenge for Melody having been bullied in school because he didn't know her. He has nothing to do with that. But he does see Melody as a tool, as a weapon, as a means to an end. So he can either go hunt down people one at a fucking time, taking all that time to hunt down one person to feed them to Gatorgate, or he can say, Melody seems like she has this really traumatic experience. She hates all 7 of these college kids, or 8, however many there are. Maybe she can all lure them to a sex house island so that I can kill 8 at once to feed them to Gatorgate.
That makes
rather
sense,
than just one. So that's why he feeds her to the alligator too, because he's like, thanks for luring all of these people here. Appreciate it. And then feeds her to the gator.
But she didn't she literally was at a bait and tackle shop just hanging out. She didn't do anything to lure those kids. They invited her. They invited her. Like, they were going to go regardless.
Right?
So Mr. Sheriff Jones could have just killed them all when they were there regardless.
You are 100% right. Because Melody was not instigating that trip to Sex House Island. She was just shopping for some bait and tackle when Travis came up to her and was like, come with us.
I know. So I get your point, but Sheriff Jones just has it all messed up.
I 100% missed that.
He's using too many tools. He's got electronic gator mouse. He's got real albino gators. And now he's got Melody. He's got 3 different weapons to murder and kill. But he's
and his knife that looks like a gator tooth. You're forgetting that very special weapon.
I mean, kudos to him for really thinking this out really, really well. So he just escaped Atlanta? That was just a closed case? Okay.
Yeah, well, they never found who did it. All they knew was that there was proof of gator involvement, which that line never ceases to make me laugh. So they know that there's a killer with gator involvement, but they never tracked him down. So yeah, he's just been hopping around being a sheriff, retiring from town to town, taking his gator with him.
His motive needs to be explained. I want to know why he's out to kill. You're not just a serial killer just because.
Right. What's his backstory?
Yeah.
But then also, I want to know the logistics of transporting a 2,000-pound albino gator every time you move.
Yeah, that's got to be a little bit. There's already suspicious murders with gator involvement, and this guy moving all around the South with an albino gator and a bunch of electronic gator traps.
They're like,
So
seems like.
I guess in the ending of all this, who did everyone die? Travis dies when he makes the leap of faith to the boat. We went over that, right? We reviewed that. So Travis is dead.
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
Literally everybody dies, except actually.
Clyde died. Brenda does not.
Brenda dies.
Oh
my God, Kolin! We did this whole thing yesterday.
But Sam, he kind of just disappears.
I was just gonna say, Sam's the only person that it's up in the air. Something may have happened that I missed it, but I watched this twice and noted it, and it feels like that's just an end that never gets tied up.
Yeah, you want him to pop out and take control, but nope.
It does seem like the perfect opportunity would have been for him to enter the frame when they're having the showdown in the forest, and Brenda's like, it's all over now, and Sam you have no idea how he gets there. He just walks into frame being
Pops up.
yeah.
It is.
It's out of frame now. I'm a CSI investigator, and we're out of time, bud. You're done. But nope, Sam's the only person. And then it obviously heavily implies that Claudia and Maddie die because they're on the boat with Sheriff Jones with the gator trailing behind them.
Yeah. Oh,
just
that means they're dead.
Yeah.
That means they're dead.
So Sam's the only one that we don't have 100% closure on, unfortunately.
Oh, he just made it out to Nolans right in time.
He's like, funny, I gotta catch a flight to Nolans. I'll send the state troopers your way, but I have a flight to Nolans.
But it was just really boring overall. The characters were boring. They were all just white, boring actors.
Even the gator was white.
Lots of polo shirts, lots of khakis, and there are 10-minute intervals of gator faces just in swamps.
And it's always the same shot of the tiniest gator just peeking out from the swamp, and they just cut to that shot every time, and they try to pretend like it's lots of gators, but it's just the one. It's just someone probably got that shot at a zoo, just a real tight shot of a gator face, and they're like, "You'll definitely use this. We'll use this."
Well, this was a good one. I loved this one.
I will say though, I loved this one, loved it, and I will give it an A for effort across the board, but mostly because, we all see the movies where the bad guy is the good guy. There's that twist at the end. Have you ever in your life seen a movie, you know what I mean, but have you ever seen a movie where the bad guy's weapon is a giant gator?
No.
Ever.
Never.
Or anything even like that. A giant hawk, a giant mountain lion, anything. He's paired up with a beast.
How did he train this gator? I'm curious.
He had it from its baby chirping gator days, so.
That's true. When he found it,
I don't know. I guess you can do that.
I guess gators are surprisingly very smart. They are very easily trainable.
He taught them morals. He taught it reasoning. He taught it right
taught
from
how
wrong.
to sneak up on people, how to blow little bubbles, everything.
Exactly. It was a long long-term effort, but it was a high payoff.
High payoff. He's killed a lot of people. Lots of people. Well, thanks for tuning in to this. This movie was actually one of our shorter movies we've done. The movie itself is only an hour and 15 or something, but we just love it so much. We just went overboard. But thanks for tuning in again.
And word to the wise, see some bubbles in a swamp.
Don't go poking
them.
Don't go poking them. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.